Hello and welcome to the final episode of Buy, Hold, Sell for 2021. My name's James Marley. It's great to have you with us, and it's also great to have James Gerrish from Market Matters and Jun Bei from Tribeca. Now we're talking about a bunch of stocks that have got big plans for 2022, and we're going to find out if Jun Bei and James think they're a buy, hold or sell. Now Jun Bei, I'm going to start with you. Crown, it's been out of love with the market. They've got a couple of bids. Buy, hold or sell?
It's buy, absolutely. Still trading cheaper than the bid price, and we expect more contention for its assets. As we have seen in this market, whenever the one bid comes through, they flush out a lot of other bidders simply because the assets trading at a very, very depressed level. Its earnings is pretty much non-existent at this point, and then with the world ready to reopen and its casino and the restaurants and things is expected to experience significant capacity growth, and its asset value sitting still just around that $9 and above, clearly there's a lot of issues going on with the regulatory and all that review, but with one bid already on the table, there's easy return to be made. Yeah,
great. M&A has been a massive feature of this year, and there's been a few nibbles at Crown. Buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, it's a buy for me as well. So Blackstone is the bid you made mention of. The third time they've been had a crack at Crown. So Crown's trading around $11.20. They've bid $12.50. I think that will ultimately, as Jun Bei made mention of, may bring out other parties to the table, namely Star. So they've expressed some interest in Crown. I don't think Blackstone is going to be the bidder to bring it up above that $12.50. They'll need a competitor in the mix for that. But I still think it's a buy. I think the downside's manageable, but there's plenty of upside there.
Okay. Next stock we're going to talk about is Link Administration, and it's also having all sorts of shots taken at the moment. Is it a buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, I think it's a hold. I mean, it's a lukewarm hold for me. So they've obviously had a couple of bids last year that walked away. There was the complexity in those bids given they held a large stake in PEXA. That has now been spun out to a new listed, so it sort of simplifies the rationale to buy Link. But again, it's in neutral territory. It may happen, it may not. It's sort of a lukewarm hold for me, James.
Okay, hold for James. Jun Bei, Link, buy, hold or a sell?
Look, it's a buy. I know a little bit boring, but it is a buy because it's still trading at 15% below the bid price, and in the next couple of weeks we expect to hear more from the bidder. And if that doesn't happen, the business is going to split out the PEXA stake, and then they will use that to buy back its shares. It's already got a buyback in place, but the other ways they can buy back more shares, for example. And also at the moment it's also got another two private equity group looking at some of its worst operating assets in Europe, and they're actually loss making, and they're bidding for a good price as well. So eventually next 12 months this company won't be listed. There's enough interest in there for you to make a good double-digit return.
Okay, interesting. Life 360. I had to look this one up. It helps you keep track of your family.
Absolutely.
Buy, hold or sell, Jun Bei?
It's absolutely a buy. So this company, tracking is a big thing, big theme, and going forward as well. So this company previously only tracked family members, but now it recently made purchase of the tile business. So it tracks absolutely everything, whether it's your device or anything else. Your key, yeah. So I can never find my keys, and your dog and everything else. So and then keep them in the same ecosystem. And this is absolutely where everything's going. Apple's got its own ecosystem, and this one's already got that. Already make over $100 million, and mainly in America at the moment, but other markets is expected to pick up quite quickly. And with the purchase of that tile business, it's doubled its revenue, and in the future the growth is phenomenal. Company grew organically during pandemic, has been hit by pandemic, but grew over 40% even during pandemic, and next couple of years just organically, excluding the acquisition, was growing at 40-50%. So it's a very high growth business, and still trading at 4 or 5 times revenue. So it's not expensive, and it's just started getting a little bit of interest. It's still at that early stage of its growth. So it's a buy.
Yep. Must say it slid under the radar for me. James, is Life 360 on your radar? Buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, it's on our radar. It's a buy. I'd caution in terms of, it's obviously the share price is down from where it made the acquisition of Tile and it raised capital at $12. It's now under $10. So on that metric, it's a buy. The one aspect I'd be cautious on is around the monetisation of data. So that's going to be a really politically charged area over the next couple of years. So that could be a risk for the business in how they monetise data and how they deal with consumers' data on their platform. So for me, it's a buy for all the reasons Jun Bei pointed out. It's a phenomenal growth stock. It's inexpensive for what you get, but there is regulatory risk around it.
Okay. Have you got a stock you can share with us, something that you like that's got expansion plans, a new product, doing something innovative in the year ahead?
Yeah, I think Aussie Broadband, ABB, is a stock that I'd speak about in terms of that. I think 2022 is going to be a big transition year for it. They've just announced plans to take over the wire, OTW. That's going to transform the business into a business that's got an enterprise value around 1.3 billion. It's growing at 30%. They're going to enter the ASX 200 probably on the back of this. So that's just going to transform the business. The services it offered, the breadth of the business is going to increase markedly in 2022. It's run by incredible management, and I don't think that's going to be the last acquisition that they'll make in the next 12 months. So for me, Aussie Broadband is a buy.
Okay, great. Jun Bei, you got something you can match Aussie Broadband to have a cracking 2022?
I've got so many. Just kidding. So I've got this one, so Vista. Vista, one I would name. I would call it a big year next year because it's got a new CEO and also its earnings going through transition. Transition as in, this business was impacted significantly by COVID and all the shops were shut, even though you can buy trinkets online. But Vista is very much tailored towards events. So there was no events pretty much, weddings, events, all sorts of things. And so 2022, when the world reopens, this company will have very, very strong earnings. First quarter of the year, they already said, for 20 weeks of the year, already said doing, over 25% like for like, and, over 40% sort of total sales growth, just incredible amount of growth. And with the new CEO, we think there will be huge focus on, he's brought with him very significant experience across the emerging Asia or China and India. So we think there will be a lot of focus on that market and that will continue to grow. The company has such a unique business model and it creates such excitement within its store. It really brings the customers to itself. And if it can replicate around the world, the addressable market is enormous. So Vista is the one I think that will do great in 2022.
Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after a challenging 2021, our guests have delivered. They brought a couple of sparkling stocks to get us positive for the year ahead. Thanks very much for watching this year. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button because we've got some cracking content coming up over Christmas and New Year. All the best for 2022. We'll see you then.